The first rule of policy writing is to understand your audience. Decision makers, legislators, agency heads, CEOs are functionally illiterate due to time constraints. They do not read journals. They do not read footnotes. They scan. If you cannot capture their attention in the first 30 seconds, your idea is dead. Academic writing rewards complexity, jargon, and on the other hand, equivocation. Policy writing punishes all of that. The goal is clarity and action. You are not exploring a topic. You are selling a solution. A standard policy brief has 4 components. First, the executive summary. This is the hook. It sits at the top. It summarizes the entire brief in 1 paragraph. Second, context and importance. This explains why this matters now. Third, policy options. This gives the decision maker a menu of choices, usually 3. Fourth, the recommendation. This is the ask, the specific action you want them to take. If you bury the recommendation at the end, you have failed. In policy, we use BLUF. Bottom line up front. BLUF means you do not build a mystery. You do not lead the reader on a journey of discovery. You start with the conclusion. To reduce opioid overdose deaths by 20% in King County, the governor should authorize a pilot program for safe injection sites. That should be the first sentence. Then you use the rest of the document to prove why that is the right call. This respects the reader's time and frames the entire document around the solution, not just the problem. You will have mountains of data. Most of it should stay in your hard drive. In a brief, data dumping is fatal. You must select only the data that drives the narrative. If you say 40,000 people died, that is a statistic. If you say overdoses are now the leading cause of death for men under 50 in your district, that is a political crisis. Use infographics. A simple bar chart showing a rising trend is worth 1,000 words of text. Connect the statistic to a constituent type. The average voter is worried about this. When presenting policy options, use the Goldilocks strategy. You usually present 3 options. Option 1 is the status quo, doing nothing. You explain why this is bad. Costs will rise. People will die. Option 2 is a radical change, the too hot option. This might solve the problem, but is too expensive or politically risky. Option 3 is your recommendation, the just right option. It solves the problem, but is feasible and affordable. By framing your idea as the sensible middle ground between inaction and extremism, you make it easy for the politician to say yes. The tone is tricky. You must be persuasive, but you cannot sound like an activist. Avoid emotional adjectives like outrageous or heartbreaking. Use analytic language like evidence suggests or data indicates. Crucially, you must acknowledge the counter-arguments. If you pretend there are no downsides to your plan, you look naive or dishonest. State the downside clearly. This will cost $10 million. And then explain why the benefit outweighs it. Credibility comes from balance. The decision maker needs to trust that you have looked at all the angles. Finally, the recommendation must be specific. Do not say the state should address homelessness. That is a wish, not a policy. Say the legislature should pass Bill 105 allocating $5 million to the Housing Trust Fund. Tell them exactly what lever to pull. Is it legislation? Is it an executive order? Is it a regulation change? If you don't give them a specific mechanism, they will nod in agreement and do nothing. Visual design matters. A wall of text is intimidating. Use white space. Use bullet points aggressively. Use bold headers so a person skimming can get the gist in 10 seconds. A good rule of thumb is 2 pages maximum. 1 sheet of paper, front and back. If it's longer than that, it belongs in an appendix that no one will read. The physical document itself is a tool of persuasion. It should look professional, clean, and urgent. To conclude, Lesson 1, the policy brief, is the bridge between the world of ideas, Kingdon's policy stream, and the world of action, the politics stream. Writing 1 forces you to clarify your own thinking. If you can't explain your bioethical argument in 2 pages, you don't understand it well enough to change the law. In the next lesson, we will look at Asterisk, who Asterisk receives these briefs. We will learn how to map the political terrain using stakeholder analysis. Start thinking about the topic for your own policy brief assignment. Pick something concrete. Pick a specific decision maker, your mayor, your governor, the head of your hospital. We are going to practice this skill until it becomes second nature. See you in the next lesson.